morning! We're going to create our first app today. To start, we're going to click our first option, Create New Project. Android Studio will default to phone and tablet and also to empty activity. This is fine for now, so we're going to click Next. Your project name can be whatever you want. We're going to call ours First App. Notice in the package name, it's the reverse web page address or something of that nature. For example, something in Google would be google.com. This will be written as com.google. For our purposes, we're going to use last name, first name, and then the name of our app. And this is the storage location. You may want to pay attention to where your program is stored. Under Language, verify that it says Java and not Kotlin. And for minimum SDK, we're going to use API 26, Android 8.0, Oreo. If you click Help Me Choose, it'll list the API levels. Anybody using an operating system lower than 26 will not be able to run your program. Ideally, you should choose the minimum API that you are able to create your project on. That way, you maximize the number of people who can run your application. For our purposes though, we're going to choose API 26. If anyone has a newer operating system, they will be able to run our program. Currently, there's about 60% of the world's Android devices that will be able to run our program on. Make sure you unclick Use Legacy Libraries, and then at this time, it's going to build the Gradle, index your files, and set up your program. After the program finishes generating and indexing your project, you'll see that you have a project folder here on the left, and it opens up to your mainactivity.java file. If we go into Resources, that's the RES folder, then Layout, then double-click on activitymain.xml, it'll show us the current coded file. But if you click Design, you'll see what your layout looks like at the moment. You can also use Split to see your code side by side with what it's rendering. To demonstrate your app or to test your first app, you'll click Tools and then click AVD Manager, which is your Android Virtual Device Manager. And since this is the first device, you'll have to click Create Virtual Device. Then you can pick any device you want to emulate, but I'm going to recommend you pick something with the Google Play Store already installed so that you can use that later. Click on Next. Then it's going to let you choose which operating system you want to put on your emulator. There are some ones that have not been downloaded. Pi, as you can see, has already been downloaded, so I don't need to. But if you want to choose a different operating system, you can click Download and Install. Click on Next. Give it any name you want, click Finish. And over here, you could wipe the data later if you want. You could do a code boot, but we're just going to hit play to start the application. And please note that you can create a new virtual device by clicking here. Now, your Android device will load up just the same way as a physical device would. If you were booting up your phone, this is what it would look like. Okay, your phone is almost ready. Now it is ready. We're going to go to Run. We're going to run our application. It's building the app right now, and then it's going to push it and install it into this device. It packages your code into an APK file. Basically, it's a compressed file of your code and resources, and then it pushes it into the Android emulator, which then installs it just as it would any other program. Right now, you can see it installing. Please note that this white surface area is the layout that you have created. This is your title bar, and this is your notification bar, and you can take those off if you want. Now that you've finished testing your app, to turn it in, you would click Build, Build Bundle APKs, and then choose Build APKs. And this is going to actually create the app for you again. Okay, then in my case, I'm going to click locate here, and it's going to take it to the directory where the app is stored, into the app folder, the build folder, the outputs folder, then APK, then debug. And then this app-debug.apk, you're going to rename this, put your period, the lab number, your last name, your first name, and then the custom name of your app. Most of us will call it First App in this case. There are other ways to get here. You can right-click on App, and in Windows, you'll choose Show in Explorer. In Mac, you'll use Finder, then go to App, go to Build, then Outputs, then APK, then Debug, and there is the file you have to rename. Then you would send this file to Mr. Tra along with a recording of your app. To do a recording of your app, you'll need to have your Logcat turned on. All the way down here. This is your Logcat. Please note that here is your emulator. It lists the devices connected, so always verify that you are connected to your current device. You can take a screenshot using this icon, or you could take a video. For this first app, a screenshot is adequate. You click on the screenshot, it takes a picture, then you can save it to wherever you want. And there's our save button. For many of you, you may start with something like this where you can't see these two buttons. So you have to come down here where you can see screen capture and screen record, or you could do what Mr. Tra does and drag Logcat all the way up until you see the two button icons. And that's a wrap on Lab 00. Congrats, you did it! You made your first Android app. And we can't wait to see you back here working on Lab 01. Thanks for watching and happy coding!